It is official. I have grown one of the best tomatoes I've ever grown in my entire life. And I'm not over exaggerating when I say that. I've been gardening since I was about 5 years old. I loved gardening and plants so much, I decided to get an entire degree in soil science. I've been working in the agricultural world for large scale production for 15 years now. I'm not lying when I tell you I've cracked the code on how to start seeds for tomatoes and how to pot up, etc., and so forth, resulting in one of the healthiest, one of the best tomato plants I've ever grown. Now, before we get to what the secret sauce is for this bad boy, let's check out the other options I went with and how and why I presume they fell short. Number one is bumping up into a smaller seed cell. Now, I'm not going to say that this plant is unhealthy by any stretch of the imagination. It's got a really firm stem. It's completely upright, lots of new growth. The spacing between the inner nodes is not that obnoxious. And overall, plant is doing okay. The size of it is smaller. And while this isn't a big deal, and actually, quite honestly, would transplant better than something that is larger, particularly when we're talking about transplanting into less than ideal conditions, it very simply put does not have nearly as many leaves. It has less photosynthetic power, and this less photosynthetic power results in no flowers yet compared to all of the flowers we see on my finest specimen, if you will. Now, I will say that these were all started the same way, and I picked the best out of the best when it came to planting of the tomatoes. And they all came quite literally from the same seed starting setup, which it shocked me, if I'm being completely honest. It's definitely not something that I thought would happen in the playbook, but turns out that's my future for starting seed. Now, of course, the experimenting doesn't just end here. It will continue throughout the summer. I've actually tagged all of the pots with tags that have a specific color on them. And the color of the tag indicates exactly what size container each plant was potted up into. Now, there is a black Sharpie marker on all of the tags that came from that original ideal seed starting setup, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And then the ones that are blank were started in your very classic seed cells that were inch by inch type thing, and or the Jiffy pods, both of which kind of yielded very similar results in regards to below ground and above ground biomass. So last place, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, is these smaller containers. Didn't do horrible, but definitely not the star of the show. Now, the reason for why they performed this way probably has a lot to do with the plant's ability to expand its roots. Below ground biomass is directly related to above ground biomass. You can't have one without the other. And when it comes to chicken versus the egg scenario, root biomass is quite literally step one in making that upper foliage. Without it, you do not have that upper foliage. And that root biomass can be affected by a number of different things. For example, lack of water or not enough water compared to the degree in growth that they wish to have. Lack of nutrients due to smaller seed cell size, even the heat. These guys were in a greenhouse, and that soil can and will heat up a lot quicker than something in a larger container. Which brings me into number 2 plant that did better than the first one, and that is these guys. So this was one of my better ones, but I will say not all of them are like this. However, a lot, like probably 50% of them are kind of this scoop looking thing on there. But here's an example of kind of straight up and down in the square containers. There's another example just to kind of show you. It's got like a slight little bit of a lean, but mostly upright in the container. And the reason for this, I quite honestly can't tell you. I think part of it, this is completely hypothetical. I don't actually know if this is the case. But one thing you'll know with these taller pots is I didn't fill them completely to the top with soil. There's kind of like a dark hallway almost space between the top of the container and where the soil begins. And the reason for why I did this was actually for watering. I always leave headroom similar to canning to allow for proper water from the top. Now, because there's not as much soil I don't leave as much headroom on these containers compared to also the smaller containers. The larger ones, I leave a substantial amount of headroom to the point that when I potted them up, they didn't have an option to phototropism their way towards the light. They quite literally were forced upwards before they could decide where they were going to pivot. And so because of this dark hallway, kind of morbid speaking, they were growing towards the light, if you will. This guy did not grow towards the light. He decided to take the ginger route and go rogue. So this is actually very commonly something that I've seen with the square pots. It doesn't happen all the time. It just happens sometimes this year, very cold spring, very dark spring. And so I do have to use supplemental lighting in my greenhouse just because of the fact that I'm in a concrete jungle. There's not a lot of sun here. And ultimately, I think that may have affected it. Now, the plant itself is pretty healthy. It's got a nice, big, strong stem, not nearly as strong as the first one I showed you, but it also does have some flower clusters showing up. There's nothing wrong with this plant. The way I would plant it actually is quite literally on its side like this. This would all be underground, I think, for the most part in this case. But it made a bigger plant, we can say that much. It just did some crazy stuff, and I don't entirely know why. Again, there are versions of this are much more subtle in nature. This is a very extreme example of kind of that sideways movement, but bigger plants, healthy plant, but still not optimal. I think that we can obviously chalk up to slightly more water, slightly more nutrients, that sort of thing. And before we get into the seed starting cells I use that changed the game for me, let's talk about the t-shirt. I've been wearing this t-shirt in the last few videos. You guys have loved the t-shirt. There's been a bunch of orders put in for the t-shirt. All you need to do to get the t-shirt is you scroll down and you can select it from the shop at the bottom, or you can go to the home page, so to the Gardening in Canada YouTube profile, scroll over along the top to store, somewhere near the end of that bar, click it, and then you can shop for not just this t-shirt, but a bunch of different t-shirts. And yes, this is a face of me. And I decided to do this because I thought it would be hilarious walking down a grocery aisle and people are seeing doubles. I personally enjoy making people question their sanity. It makes me happy inside, okay? So if you want to also meet fellow Geek Crew members, this is a very standout way to do it because it is incredibly obvious that you are ridiculous and you are my friend. So I don't advertise this stuff very often, but you guys are absolutely loving this. I will remind me, Geek Crew, to do this, but I will post a link to this down below. If you want something a little bit more subtle, I do have a new logo, and that new logo is on my classic T-ball t-shirt or 3/4 length shirt. I also have bowl caps, sweaters, that sort of thing, all with that new logo on it. And that's kind of in celebration of 5 years of officially kind of not full-time, but regularly posting on YouTube, if you will. But let's get into the seed starting setup. So this seed starting setup, I'm going to preface this with, blew my freaking mind. I am one for scientific rigor. So the type of science, I guess, if you did not know, there's different types of science out there and different scientists or people, because anyone can be a scientist, if we're being totally honest. You can be your own garden scientist, to be completely honest. But I think the people that vibe with me, Geek Crew people, are what we call someone who enjoys scientific rigor, if you will. We are not dogmatic science. Now, you need both sides. You need the dogmatic guys to kind of bring down the dreamers, and the dreamers are kind of those rigor type scientists, and sometimes they can get a little bit too crazy with their ideas and they need to be brought back down to earth. So both sides need to exist. Both sides are very healthy to exist. I'm the dreamer side of things, and I'm going to eat crow because I will say I've been dogmatic about seed starting. And here's the thing. I have my seed cell size I love, I know, and I use. Jiffy pods, just your regular coconut coir or the peach in fabric cotton. Those guys, not the netting ones, but the cotton ones. Those guys, perfect cell size. The other seed cell starting size, 72 cells, those ones, that's the perfect cell size for me. I only use smaller than that when I'm doing things like flowers, so petunias or marigolds, that sort of thing. I'll use smaller size with vermiculite only. Fun fact, it works great. Never have changed, never have thought to change, never have wanted to change. I'm changing if my bank account allows for it, because I'm not gonna lie, this way is a little bit expensive. So, not sponsored, however, I do think I can get you 10% off because I think I have an affiliate link thingy for this. I will double check, remind me. But this is one piece of the Vigo seed starting kit cells that they have. So these are deeper cells. They have big open holes in the bottom, if you will, and they're pretty large and they are gonna last forever. These are very much so reusable. Now it comes with a tray top and that sort of thing as well. I am not joking when I tell you these produce the healthiest tomato seedlings I've ever had in my entire life. They were short, they were stout, they were thick stems right off the hop. Like they were A++++++. Couple things here. They took longer to germinate. They took about a week longer to germinate. The reason for why I believe the seed cell or the seeds themselves, the size of them, or the seedlings themselves, the size of them was smaller, was due to the heat mat being so far from where the seed was sown, resulting in no bolting of that seed, which in turn meant that there wasn't kind of these long straggly seeds, which you can get oftentimes with heat mats. The other reason for why I believe I saw that is the dome for this setup is quite high. And this means that the humidity would form on the top of the dome. There was kind of slots to help with that humidity management. But ultimately, I think the light being able to kind of enter into that space and all around also reduce kind of that legginess that we sometimes see with the only 1.5 inch kind of clear plastic lids you typically would have. But yeah, I'm sorry, but this is crazy to me. So I will try to find some video. I could have sworn I took some, but you think I could find them when I was looking for this video before? It's shocking. It's quite shocking, the difference in the quality of seeds that came out of this. Yeah, I don't know. I normally, they sent this to me to promote months ago, and I didn't. Sorry, Vigo. I didn't do anything with it. I was like, yeah, okay, it's a solid quality seed starting kit. When I saw the seedlings that came out of this, I was like, holy bananas, that's crazy. So let's talk about the miracle plants. So all my healthiest, regardless of what they got potted up into, came from that container, hands down. Now, every container size that I transplanted up into had seeds come from the Jiffy Pod world, the regular 72 cell world, and from that, obviously, Vigo container world. So there's an even split of all of them. But like I said, I'm only kind of showing you the best of the best, if you will. And that is objective. That is my opinion on what the best of the best is. I will show footage of all of them. You may think that something is better out of that patch, and you are free to do so. So objective. This is crazy. So this bad boy was inside of the root trainer pots that I got from Amazon. So this is not me. This is my mother-in-law convinced that these will fall over. I'm not convinced they'll fall over. I feel like if I stack them all together, they'd be just fine, but we'll make her happy and we'll continue to keep those around. All right, I love you. But what I will say is these made a big difference. So first off, you can see roots hanging down. This means that the root system on this plant is quite literal. It's a foot, half a foot, if we're comparing it to a little one, longer or larger than the other ones down there. We have roots coming out the sides of the containers. And now the reason for that is because of all of these slits are designed to do that. They're designed to train the roots to go downwards. And that causes a larger root system. So you can quite easily see that there was no restriction in root volume that could be developed. There was no restriction in nutrients that could be captured. There was no restriction in water that could be taken up, if you will. I will say I had 2 out of 12, a dozen of them, that did not make it. I do think that came down to incorrect potting soil being used. So I was using 2 potting soils. I wanted to use up one, which is just the Pro Mix garden soil in the bales. And then I switched to my Sunshine Mix number 4. So Sunshine Mix number 4 is very, very porous. I will take a video of this separate, but you will see a lot of perlite in this. The Sunshine Mix Porosity Mix, which is the Sunshine Mix 4, or Pro Mix HP, not the Pro Mix black and blue bag, but the white bag with the blue kind of circle in it that says HP in the middle. That's another high porous mix. Do really well in this. You do something too dense and they don't perform. they get choked out and they die. So you need something with lots of porosity. This lack of restriction, to say the least, caused an absolute monster of a plant, and it's replicated this over and over again. So like I said, experiment is going to go on for the remainder of this summer. I have all of my plants tagged accordingly based on the container that they grew up in. And there's a black tick on anything that came from the kind of green hard Vigo container as well. Needless to say, these take up a lot of room. They take up a lot of soil. But if you aren't doing a ton of tomatoes and you want some really healthy tomatoes, this is the platform I would probably go for. I already have flowers on this, which is just bananas to me. So very happy, very healthy plant. Like I said, be your own garden scientist, try your own things. If anyone did end up getting these root trainer pots, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd be interested to know. And if you want to know the tomato hacks that I absolutely in all capacity will never follow again, but they've been told to you repeatedly by influencers, that video right there. And that's what Google says you should watch next. So I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.